Good morning, diners, and welcome to another edition of the Cooking Zone here on the Doomstead Diner. And it's another early morning edition, doing another breakfast. And I know, been a little bit overloaded on the breakfast, but that's when I have time and energy, and I usually have the kitchen all cleaned up by the end of the night, and so after I have gone to sleep and wake up, kitchen is still all nice and neat, and so I can do another cook, right? And then I have to go through the routine all over again and clean the place up. All right, and this morning we're gonna do a breakfast of some leftovers. Okay, and there was a time, I know many of you can't imagine this, but there was a time before there was no microwaves. Oh my God. And so you couldn't just throw your shit into the microwave, heat it up, and eat it. You had to devise methods of reheating your food in other ways. And there are numerous of them, but this is one of my favorites. It's one of the first ones I learned from my sister when I was about 5 years old, or 4, or something like that. It's leftover spaghetti, okay, fried in butter, and it makes a fabulous breakfast. You've got your breakfast meat in there, your meatballs, whatever, meat sauce, whatever was used. We rarely had a marinara sauce with no meat. And it's got your carbo in the spaghetti, and then you get your fat in the butter, right? So here's our leftover spaghetti, okay, and we're going to dump that in now before the butter burns too much. Oh, listen to that sizzle. And that's a lot of leftover spaghetti for breakfast. Holy cow, I didn't realize it was that much. This is going to get divided into two breakfasts. It's not going to be one breakfast. And one thing you want to do is, if there are any big chunks of meatballs left, you want to break them up, because if they've been in the fridge a while, they're nice and cold, and they're not going to get reheated on the inside fast enough. So you want to get them chopped up to a little smaller size. Okay, I think that was the last of the real big ones. Okay, now mixing it up with the butter adds a whole lot of flavor to it. And you notice there's a lot of liquid in the spaghetti sauce, which is usually the way it is when you eat it for dinner. It's it's liquidy, right? And but for your spaghetti, your morning fried spaghetti in butter, you don't want it so liquid. So you're going to want to cook down the sauce until it gets pasty and thicker, and you have, in terms of liquid, you have mostly just butter left in there frying up, okay, the spaghetti. So that's going to take a couple of minutes, and I don't think I'll have you watch the whole thing. What I am going to do after I finish frying the spaghetti is I'm going to put it off on a plate, put a cover over it to keep it warm, and I'm going to do some scrambled eggs, okay, because the last scrambled eggs video that I made cut out on me, fucking machine, in the middle of the cook, and you got to miss all the best parts on how to best scramble an egg according to RE. And, this is something that initially got me into this whole business. I was cruising around the foodie websites and cooking sites, and, I ran across a couple of chefs who had videos up on how to scramble an egg. And I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, people don't know how to scramble eggs? And they had millions of hits to these videos. Holy shit. So I'm like, I know how to scramble an egg. Let me make a video. And actually, it was really, that was only the second one. It was the boiled eggs that really got to me. I mean, there are people that don't know how to boil an egg, apparently. And I have hypothesized that these are the people that voted for Donald Trump. And I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. I mean, to be that stupid is quite amazing. All right, we are just about there on this, and so now we'll put this off on the plate, cover it up, keep it warm, and then we will come back to scramble some eggs. See you in a bit. Okay, we are back and have our butter melted in our pan, which is freshly rinsed out. And that's a wonderful thing about non-stick. You get it rinsed and cleaned in about 30 seconds. And okay, get it. You want your butter spread around nice and even, and covering it, and especially up around the edge there where the egg is you're gonna push the egg from. All right, now what are a few things about doing scrambled eggs? Well, temperature is important. Okay, you don't want it too hot, and because then it will cook too fast and you'll get hard parts and soft parts and skin and whatnot, and you don't want that. You want nice consistent curds, and you also don't want to dry your eggs out too much. That's really gross. And I have had more than my share of really dry and gross eggs. And what I'm doing right now is I am mixing my eggs with some half and half. And now that's another subject of discussion. Some chefs say don't do that, just add water. Others say don't add water. Then there's add salt, don't add salt before you cook, because it'll break up the proteins and yada yada yada. Everybody's got a fucking opinion on how to scramble an egg. And as far as I'm concerned, a little half and half makes it richer, and also spreads out your egg. You get more for your money. Okay, now you notice it's not cooking too quick because it's I got it fairly low, and I'll turn it up just a little bit here so we get done a little faster. And the next thing that's important when you're scrambling an egg is just don't leave it alone. You want to keep moving it around, especially once it starts to congeal, more rapidly. And this one, with this electric hot plate apparatus, once it gets going, things start going quick on you. It's real hard to control the temperature and keep it at a set temperature. On a gas stove, this is a much easier procedure to do. So I'm not even sure I'm going to do the whole egg cooking procedure right now, or I'll cut out some of it because it could take longer than I would like. But, low and slow is good as far as the egg is concerned, and I will get better scrambled eggs out of it. But you would have an interminable wait for those eggs. Yeah, I think I will shut the camera off for now, and I'll bring it back on as I get closer to completion. And then we'll get it plated up with the spaghetti and have ourselves a grand old breakfast that is well within the Snap Card Gourmet budget. And I will go over what the budget for this meal was and see how much savings we put away for a premium meal later in the week or later in the month. All right, back in a bit. All right, our eggs are congealing for us now. Took about another 3 or 4 minutes of time for this to start happening, and our pan is now at about the right temperature for scrambling eggs, in my opinion. But being an electric hot plate, it won't stay at this temperature very long. It's gonna get hotter. But hopefully I'll be pretty much done with the scrambled eggs by the time it gets too hot. Because I want my eggs, I don't want them loose and runny, but I don't want them dried out. And I want them to have that nice wet look when they're plated up. Okay? Look really appetizing to my eyes. And of course everybody has their own opinion, and you can cook yours however you want. If you like them runny, cook them runny. If you like them really hard and dried out and yucky, feel free to cook them that way. I don't give a flying fuck how you cook your goddamn eggs. But I do care how I cook my eggs, and these are just about done now. Okay, now one thing is, they continue to cook after you take them out of the pan. Okay, for a little bit while they're still hot. So you don't want to overcook them, and you want to get a nice little shape there to it, so it looks good. Alright, and then one little trick that's nice to do is right before you take them out of the pan, take a little bit of what leftover uncooked egg you had, and dribble it over the top. Okay? That's going to cook from the heat of the egg, and it's going to give it that nice wet look when it shows up at your patron's table a couple of minutes later, you know, because that egg will cook from the heat of the rest of the eggs. All right, and there's our scrambled eggs. They're going to go on the plate, and we're going to eat it with the spaghetti. Yum. All right, back in a minute. Voila! Breakfast of leftover fried spaghetti and scrambled eggs. A fantastic meal. And now all we got to do is season it up a little bit. A little bit of salt, not too much. Okay, and some fresh ground pepper. Can add some of that to the spaghetti too. And some grated Parmesan, and I use only the good stuff on the Parmesan. No Kraft for that. Who makes this one? Private Selection, probably. Generic from Kroger, but it's very good. I can't find a label. It's probably on the top. So let's add some Parmesan. We'll have it over the spaghetti. and over the eggs too. Okay, Parmesan cheese really is good with scrambled eggs. Actually, it's good with any eggs. You do it with your fried eggs too. All right, let's see how the eggs are. See if they're nice and smooth and tasty. Doesn't that look good? Perfectly done. And now, a bite of leftover spaghetti. Another nice thing about this meal, for me, is it's all one arm. I don't need to use a knife. That reminds me of being a kid. I haven't fried up spaghetti in a long time. Like everybody else in modern civilization, I've become addicted to the microwave. In fact, for a lot of years, I didn't do any cooking at all and just ate microwavable foods. Because of the convenience, because cooking for one person, I mean, you just don't want to take the time usually. The only reason I'm doing it now is to do the cooking show. And it's been good for me because I'm eating better. Alright, I encourage you to eat well as we move forward into collapse, because you're going to need your energy, and who knows when the next good meal will come after shit hits the fan day. So, prep up, have your food stores ready, have alternative plans in place, and batten down the hatches, because it's going to be quite the journey for the next few years as we watch it spin down faster and faster and further. I wish all of you luck. And come join us inside the diner and discuss these issues with us and enjoy as much as you can your life and what is going on now, because it's probably the best time you'll ever have. Alright, we'll see you again here at the cooking zone of the Doomstead Diner, and that's all for now. This time, until next time. Later, folks. Damn, that's good.